Alright, so here we are at the opening cinematic for Final Fantasy VIII. I'm going to try not to talk over the whole thing because the music is quite wonderful. So I want to not ruin that. Now, if you're wondering, are these words flying across the screen important right now? Well, yes and no. This part of the game actually happens a whole lot later. This is all the way into Disc 3 of this game. So, by the time we get there, you won't remember this anymore. And honestly, that's okay. I'll remind you exactly why this is significant. But in reality, this is really more of a tech demo than anything else. This is running on the PlayStation 1 originally. This game was released in 1999, and this is quite cutting edge for 1999. I mean, the 3D rendering and the motion capture that you're going to see here in a second and all that. It's really pretty cool, and it's a lot different than what a lot of other games are doing. So at the time, this was fairly impressive technology. If you're curious, the score here is by the Japanese composer Nobuo Uematsu. Apologies on the pronunciation if that's not exactly correct, but that'll be good enough for now. All right, Final Fantasy VIII. Let's do it. So we'll go ahead and say that we are feeling okay. I'm going to not read the dialogue. I'll go slow enough that you guys watching should be able to read it just fine. But I feel like if I read it out, then that's going to be kind of annoying. I'll get annoying real quick. So here we meet our protagonist. His name is Squall. This starts the weather-themed protagonists for the Squaresoft games. Squall in Final Fantasy VIII, and then Lightning in Final Fantasy 13. Cloud was in Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, it's just, I don't know what they're really going for, but that's how that goes. I don't know. A lot of teenage angst in this game as well, so hopefully you enjoy that as much as I do. If you're curious exactly what kind of playthrough we're going to do, I kind of alluded to this in the last video, but it certainly won't be one of those 100% runs. We will do the vast majority of stuff in the game. We will try to get all of the cards. We'll get all of the GFs and all the stuff. Here, there's some girl that wants to talk to us, and she leaves. That's probably not important, so let's not worry too much about that. And here we're introduced to our next character. another character whose name is low-key impossible to pronounce. But, yeah, clearly not too impressed with our condition. This is a girl by the name of Keistis, and she is actually a professor or a teacher at this school that you'll see here in a second. Look at those PS1 graphics. Aren't they gorgeous? Oh, don't you love that? One of the cool things about this game is they introduced 3D rendering with character motion kind of at the same time. So you'll see quite a bit of that in this game. This is Balam Garden. It's somewhat of a school / military training academy. Yeah, just kind of go with it. It's pretty cool stuff. So, like any good Japanese role-playing game, we're in class. If only it was that easy to start a class with a bunch of high schoolers. Also, it would be nice to sit the whole time while giving instructions to students. Professor wants to talk to us. So, couple things that we'll do right away here. First thing, let's talk to our professor friend. No, we've not been to the fire cavern, and it's a prerequisite to the exam, so we gotta do that. And his excuse, of course, is exactly what we saw in that prologue, where he got hit by that sword right in the face. Not the most pleasant thing. So she alludes to the study panel to check the stuff, and she leaves. So we're going to take her advice and do that real quick. I would recommend doing this as well. So you just kind of face it, hit X, all that fun stuff. I love some of these options. So we'll turn on the power. There's some cool stuff in here in terms of like the school festival committee and all that fun stuff. But we have to hit the Guardian forces. So, here's a little bit of information. You can kind of read about that in general. Where is that a tutorial? It's in here somewhere, yeah. So we get 2 GFs right away. GFs are this game's version of summon mechanics. So we get 2 right away. Here's our first one. And Shiva is the second one. This is a common one in most Final Fantasy games. So, yeah, there you go. And we're gonna go ahead and not look at the rest, because that's a huge pain. And we'll get off the computer and on our way out the door. Down the hallway we go, and again, you have the option how you want to respond. We'll be the nice guy and ask. Hopefully she's doing okay. It's kind of in a hurry, late to class. I mean, that's awkward. And we can offer to give a tour, or we can just kind of not. Again, we'll be the nice guy, we'll say yes. You certainly don't have to do that. I don't think it impacts any part of the game in any kind of big way, but yeah, we'll go ahead and say yes. One of the things you absolutely do want to do in this hallway is talk to this guy. He'll go ahead and give you a bunch of cards. There's a pretty cool card mini game that we can do in this game, and it's absolutely worth it because if you collect the right amount of cards, there's certain abilities that let you just absolutely break the... I mean, it's stupid how broken this game can get if you can really exploit all that fun stuff. So we'll go ahead and do the tour here. Again, this part's completely optional, just being a nice guy. So, quick way to get through the different areas. It is a pretty big location, this school in particular, but yeah, that's what it is. Apologize if I'm going in kind of a rush here, but yeah. He's kind of thinking to himself here as he's explaining it. And here he quickly avoids the commitment to be on the party planning committee. But don't worry, you'll be able to get on that committee. If you want. I mean, it depends how you want to play the game. I'm going to go ahead and not do that. Pretty big disclaimer on the training facility there. Yeah, it can kill you. Very true, very true. And of course, Sid makes an appearance as well. Those of you who have played the Final Fantasy games, you know there's a recurring character named Sid that always seems to come up. And that's basically the opening little section of Final Fantasy VIII. So what you'll want to do, make sure you hit the save points fairly regularly. Here's our character. This is Squall. He's a level 7. You start off with 5 grand worth of money and a couple items. 5 tents, 2 remedies, Phoenix Downs, potions, all that fun stuff. Of course, you do have a description as to what exactly those items do if you're not familiar with Final Fantasy games. But more on that in the next one. So we'll go ahead and save here. And I'll see you in the next one.